when people talk about wanting to accept different types of people, and that you shouldn't be just because you're bad at one thing, or because you're different in one way, doesn't mean that you don't have any place in society, and that's great. And I've always felt like, even though I know how retarded I am, I've always tried to find some way which I could be of a positive social influence, or have some social situation where I could contribute something to, and how I could even like make my retardation into kind of a funny thing, and just have it be a weird personality thing, like, oh, that's you know I'm the retard, but at least I can be funny about it, and I can talk about it. But I've repeatedly come to the conclusion, every single fucking time, that what I have is not just one particular thing. And when people think about how they could accept different types of people, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about if they're talking about people like me. Because the way I am different is in a way where I cannot fundamentally understand the same social cues and social understandings and conversational dynamics as normal people can. And this is very, very fundamental. And whenever I've tried to figure out a way where I could survive in a social situation, I understand many ways where I would still be just horrifyingly incompetent, retarded, seemingly inconsiderate, and just worthless. And I mean, it would really be humiliating no matter what, because the fundamental way I speak, the fundamental way I construct sentences and understand what is the right thing to say in a discussion is fucking just insane. And I know that a lot of situations where I can come across as very spurgy and unlikable and just terrible, even if I'm not trying to be that. And I could be, I could look like I'm self-absorbed and just inconsiderate in many different ways, even though I don't intend that. And regardless of how hard I try, I'm always gonna be, people are never gonna really understand what I really am trying to communicate, and I'm never gonna understand what they're trying to communicate. And it's not just gonna be where I'm incompetent. I know many situations where it is very humiliating because of the fact that I come across as an asshole, as inconsiderate, as self-absorbed, as very spurgy, and just in the most unlikable way that I can't even really explain. But it doesn't matter how hard I try to reform that, it's always fundamentally the case in every single social situation ever. And so, even I've tried to consider places where I could function, where it wouldn't be that bad, where I could make light of it, and it could just be like one personality quirk that I deal with, and that, I accept, like, oh, maybe I word that sentence wrong, but who cares? Like, it could still be like a romantic thing where it's just one problem, one obstacle that you have, but you can still be fundamentally human. You can communicate that obstacle, you can communicate how it's hard, you can make light of it. I was thinking I could still fundamentally do that, but that's not the case. Because even my ability to try to make light of it, or try to, go past it, it doesn't work because it's not just one particular personality quirk. It's literally the fact that the way I talk is psychopathic. The way I talk is dysfunctional, and I do not understand social cues or conversational dynamics at a very fundamental level, to where I cannot hold a conversation without me coming across as a terrible person, as an aloof fucking spurg, and as someone who's just the most unlikable and most aloof person ever. And that happens with every sentence I make, with every conversation. And so it isn't like this romantic thing where it's just one obstacle that you can overcome and that you can make light of or try to, avoid and like try to persevere in despite of it. And, people can sympathize with that because you can talk about it, and then you can talk about it in a way that makes people understand and makes them care, and you can have something that's still redeeming about you. It's not how it is. I can't even communicate the problem. I can't even communicate it in a way that's appealing to people. I can't communicate it without coming across as incoherent and as stupid and retarded and delusional. I cannot be likable. I cannot say things in a likable way or come across as likable. And sometimes, it does just feel like, because of arbitrary rules about how neurotypicals like to word things, but I think sometimes it really just is that I can't fundamentally communicate ideas coherently or feelings coherently where they actually are understandable to anybody, even to like other autistic people, So even if I was, even if I was with other autistic people and they all understood how bad it was and they all had it as well, everyone would still find me to be unlikable and horrible, and would just not be able to talk to me or be able to hold much of a connection with me, because I fundamentally cannot word things in a way that makes sense or understand what to say, and understand how not to be a self-absorbed aloof retard. And so it's not some just particular thing where you can overcome it, or you can persevere despite of it, or anything like that, or you can make a light of it. That's always what I thought of. Like, I can be the retard, but I'll make it funny. I'll be useful in some way. I'll have some kind of skill. I'll be like the retard that's good at fucking some kind of technical thing, or I'll be the retard, but I'll be able to talk about things and be able to be useful. And it's like, no, because if I did that, I would be self-absorbed, I'd be an asshole, I'd be inconsiderate, I wouldn't understand what they're saying, I wouldn't understand what I'm saying, what even it means, and it would be retarded. I would be aloof in every way, I'd be inconsiderate in every way, I'd be retarded in every way. Every sentence I would make would be completely fucking just embarrassing and humiliating at a terrifying level. And no one would fucking understand anything I'm going through. And they never will, because I'm not able to even communicate it. I'm not even able to hold a conversation. Or to be able to sympathize with people and have them sympathize with me. I'm not fucking human in that way. I'm basically just not human in the social way. And I feel like I don't have a lot of human skills. So no matter how much I care about this, no matter how much I try, no matter how much I care about the things I try to improve or the people I try to talk to, I'm always going to come across as a terrible, insufferable, and likable asshole who's just disgusting and retarded and repulsive in the way they talk. And it's not romantic at all, in a way where it's like, oh, you have this mental problem, you have bipolar, you have OCD, and it's terrible, but you can talk to me, and you can be a good person, you can have some merit in some area. you can persevere in spite of that. You can still say stuff that's likable and still have some contribution. It's like, no, it's not like that. It's not like that at all. I'm just like some fucking low functioning autistic ranting about themselves, being absolutely inconsiderate of everything everyone says unintentionally. No matter how hard I try, no matter how much I actually care, it doesn't matter. I just can't fundamentally word things in a way that actually communicates what I want to communicate. I can't communicate my thoughts or feelings. I can't understand other people's thoughts or feelings. I don't know where to take a conversation. I don't know how to ask a question. I don't know how to respond to a question. I don't know how to word a sentence. Every time I have a conversation, I end up being inconsiderate and terrible and retarded and aloof and disgusting in a way that is just ugly. In a way that's just completely fucking ugly and unlikable and it has no merit. I used to think that this was so cruel, that it was just so arbitrary, that it was just because I couldn't, use the right words that sound, that communicate the right emotion to people, just because I don't completely understand it. And then that's kind of part of it, like I kind of feel like, I don't know, what was I talking about? I mean, there's just so many fundamental ways where I'm not going to be someone anyone wants to talk to. Maybe I sound like autistic and my voice is stupid, and then maybe I'm self-absorbed accidentally, and then maybe I say these words in the wrong way, and I can't construct something in a way that's emotionally appealing. Maybe I can't give emotional support. Maybe I can't say words in the correct way to communicate the right idea, and I can't ask the right questions, and in a way it manifests. It's like there's so many different ways, and I go through the stress of recognizing every single one of those ways every day, but for some reason it's just hard for me to think of examples to just list. But there are many examples. It's just my mind goes blank because it's just so much. It's just like a fundamental overarching thing. Like, where do you start? And I'm partly too embarrassed, because that's the thing. These things are not just small insignificant things. They're really embarrassing. They're very fucking embarrassing. They're ugly, disgusting, repulsive, humiliating. And it's just how I speak to every conversation. It's always just felt so arbitrary that it has to be this way, that I have to be a failure all the time in this shit. Because, I mean, if I want to, like, for example, be useful to people in some way, to contribute to some community, even if I try harder than everyone else, I'm not going to be able to do it just because I'm fucking retarded. I can't speak correctly. No one likes me. Even if I care more about being a good person and I try more, it doesn't matter, because I just haven't been born the right way to be able to do this stuff. And it doesn't feel naturally obvious to me. I feel like I should be able to be a normal, helpful person. I feel like that's my natural destiny, is just to be someone like any other person, and to be comfortable with talking to other people and be able to have a positive influence on somebody in some way. At least just not be this disgusting. And so, like, imagine what that was like when I first was going through it, when I was first recognizing how bad it was. It's like, I guess everything, all the places I tried to be liked, all the people I tried to talk to, it's just fucking worthless. It doesn't matter if I have inspiration to affect something. Doesn't matter how hard I try, because for whatever reason, despite the fact that it feels natural and normal and right that I would be able to not be disgusting when I talk, to be able to be comfortable with talking to people and contributing something to something, like, despite that, like, I'm just so fucking retarded and unlikable in every conversation I'm in. And that doesn't feel like it I don't feel like that should be the case. I feel like I should be normal. I want to be normal. I want to be able to not be this, like, fucking ugly. Again, I mean that in, like, a metaphorical way, like, just ugly in the way I talk. It's just not appealing to people. People don't feel bad for me even because I just come across as an asshole who's making this shit up, I guess. It just feels fucking cruel that I should be given this mental disability, where I don't have any place in society, clearly, and I am not fundamentally fucking human when it comes to sociability, and then still feel like that is completely perverse and that I should be able to talk to people, and that's one of my basic desires still. Like, it's a contradiction, and it's fucking cruel. I should be just too retarded to even care, but I'm not. I am very retarded, but I still care that I'm retarded. I don't want to be retarded. I want to be fucking normal. I want to be able to have positive influence on something. Have a skill I can be comfortable in, an area of life I can be comfortable and stable in. Not always be failing and stressed out about all the ways I don't fundamentally understand how to competently do something. Just fail in everything. Be a disgusting, ugly retard in every conversation. Have everyone hate me. And it's not fucking anxiety, dude. It's real. Maybe people don't hate me, but they just think that I imagine it must be fucking weird, right? It's not just that I'm incompetent. It's that I'm really, like, fucking unlikable and really, it's really bizarre how I talk. But, people I don't probably ruin people's lives, but I obviously don't prove that I don't. And no, nobody fucking likes me.